So in a time when Sonic is constantly being treated by SEGA, and the writers like it is mainly aimed towards children, and that's the end of it, of course you'd have a group of people starting to feel suspicious on Sega's decision makings. In fact, after 2006 was released, and Sega tried to go back into basics, it feels to me like Sega had no real strong self-belief of Sonic anymore to work as a strong concept. In fact, 2006 is like the game that completely destroyed Sega's strong credibility to be able to turn Sonic something much bigger than just a game for kids. Because most fans treat 2006 like a game from hell, and that any game that tries to remotely try new gameplay styles with other characters or multiple stories to be connected with a huge plot would be a bad idea because 2006 failed. Yeah, right, because of Sonic 2006 simply existing, it has become a magic rule that any new Sonic game that tries anything that was alike 2006 decision making will have its quality crushed in an instant. Because anything that remotely represents 2006 is somehow a bad game. It's like there's a Sonic Bible or something and this rule is written in it. But hey, then boom! Sonic Boom was announced! Hell yeah! This was a chance for Sega to reboot the Sonic series and start everything from... Huh? A spin-off? Not a reboot? This tells me that Sega wanted a backup plan if Boom failed miserably, and apparently it works to an extent. You'll have a group of people constantly defend Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric for being a spin-off and not a main series Sonic game. But back to my main point, of course people were excited about Boom. It was a perfect opportunity to turn Sonic back to its root, so of course people were excited. And remember, this was in a time with Sonic Colors, Generations and Lost World as the recent mainstream Sonic games. From Boom's reveal trailer, it was not treating its audience stupid and like it's just a bunch of kids. If anything, it was neutral, and this gave Boom an incredible opportunity to reach a wide appeal if it were to go in this direction and its overall tone in the final execution. Can I just be a part of a minority that thinks Boom had potential and redeeming quality behind all of its unpolished decisions in the final product? Well, gee, I'm sorry. I guess the mainstream Sonic series is perfect. Oh hey, look! Here's another McNose here joke. What is that? You guys don't like it? You guys don't like it that Eggman has become a running gag that even his own robots make fun of? Well, too bad for you! I guess Sonic never had a chance to repair itself in its direction ever. Oh wait. I'm getting upset about this quote-unquote Sonic ideology. That 2006 and Boom don't work because it simply goes in a different approach to what we are used to seeing now. I'm probably going to make a future video where I explain as to how the Sonic Boom franchise could have succeeded on a whole via its storytelling, gameplay, etc. But I won't go too deep into that here. Just because Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric and Sonic 06 didn't turn out well in their execution doesn't mean that multiple playable characters and a complex story is impossible to all around execute well in the game. Sure, you could choose to ride on the horse, but driving a car is even better, cooler, just better. Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom is like a car that was not even finished. It was still being built, but all of a sudden the driver decides to jump in anyways and drives it until it explodes midway on the street. If only the car had the time to be fully fixed, could it have been taken, well, it could have taken the driver to a restaurant where the driver could have eaten delicious food. It's not as if you can have the option to ride with your horse to that restaurant. Don't you just love it how Sonic Boom advertised itself as an alternative universe for Sonic and his friends, where they would have improved personalities and a vast world to explore with ancient temples and such, only to have it mainly be remembered as the world where Sonic and his friends sit by the beach and do whatever they feel like doing. Alright, jokes aside, this is still without a doubt something that still to this day really bothers me. From all the interviews and such, they kept on implying these things as being part of Sonic Boom on a whole. While Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric gives no clear background to this new world, it still does one thing exceptionally well. It manages to appeal to a wide audience with how the overall dialogue was handled. Well, if we're going with ignoring the in-game dialogue.
Can never grab too many rings. And I'm awesome. Bounce pad.
You know, the fact that the TV show is more properly aimed towards kids in comparison to the games should ring a clear bell to SEGA, but nope, it doesn't seem like it one bit. Sonic Boom is a spin-off series, according to SEGA, that is aimed towards kids. Even Stephen Frost seems to be approval of the fact that Sonic, even in general, is for kids. What this tells me is that we have one universe for Sonic that is mainly aimed towards kids with its writing, then another universe of Sonic with an even bigger and more epic world that is also aimed towards kids due to the simplistic TV show having the best reputation of not the rather complex atmospheric games. But how has it come to this? How has Sonic been confused by SEGA on how it originally appealed to a wide demographic? While it's kind of hard to say due to SEGA's lack of consistency with their thinking and logic with the overall direction of the series, I do think it has a lot to do with the fact on how 2006 failed miserably for critics and fans alike. So SEGA has somehow confused themselves with who it is that Sonic appeals the most to. Somehow it has came to their minds that, yup, Sonic's for kids, and he has worked that way the best. Just look at the Genesis games, end of story. When in reality, what SEGA and Sonic Team seems to be doing overall is probably just look at zones like Green Hill Zone alone to somehow judge how the overall tone of the appeal was overall for those games. Saying Sonic Boom is for kids while modern Sonic is for everyone, at least in a time like now, serves no value or supportive claim to one's argument. Generally, the idea of a blue hedgehog being SEGA's mascot does on paper kind of sound like it being a mascot for kids pretty much only. But when you look into it deeper, like I did with these videos, there's a reason to how and why Sonic had touched many of gamers' hearts in both their childhoods, teens, and adulthood. But SEGA doesn't seem to understand that fact. Aiming low on making a product on a whole great, just because it's being aimed towards a minor audience as the excuse, is laziness at its finest. Just the same way some people argue against those who defend the Sonic Boom games' quality based on the demographic excuse. Do I find it inexcusable as to why modern Sonic's plot recently, in its tone, has been so lackluster. So yeah, to me there are no real excuses as to why the writing in Sonic's recent games are the way they are. It's for kids generally just screams laziness from the writers to me. What bothers me more is that despite on how Sonic's for kids argument of Sonic Team, they still insist on trying to make the plot more darker and dramatic from time to time. Scenes like these are pure proof that there is a lack of communication between the producers and the writers. Okay, fine. Forget to have writers that are passionate about Sonic's wide appeal. Look, SEGA, all I'm literally asking you to do is to know what direction you're heading to with Sonic as a mascot. Is he just supposed to be a game with a silly story to only appeal to children, or is it supposed to be something for everyone to be able to enjoy? I could perhaps have tolerated Sonic Colors and Lost Worlds' kiddish plots, I suppose, if it just weren't for the fact that they tried to make those games serious anyways with some scenes. With the Sonic Forces reveal trailer, it tells me that SEGA now thinks the opposite again and whatnot. Sonic wasn't making fun of the situation he was being put in. He expressed emotions of anger from the first shot. Something that from what I can recall had not been seen since like the adventure games. So okay, Sonic Forces is supposed to, well, appeal to everyone pretty much, in its atmosphere and the writing. Sure, but then stick to that. And don't show us in the final product that you were confused like before. With Sonic Forces and Mania now coming up, I think this is a great time for SEGA and Sonic Team to finally decide for once. I don't want to end this on a negative note. I want to make it clear that while I could have potentially came off as harsh towards Sonic, that I, despite his flaws, still like him. Obviously, you can, if you look closely into my profile, you can see a Sonic. You see, Sonic is there. A Sonic, whatever. It's just that I don't want to ignore his flaws too much. I want to try to stay somewhere in the middle. Something most Sonic fans seem to be lacking on being able to do. Sonic will always somehow be cool to me deep inside. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to act all nice all of a sudden, or to pretend as if his flaws doesn't matter. I'm saying this because this is genuinely how I feel. It plays a major factor as to why I keep coming back for more from this series. It plays a big part of my childhood, and I love the thrill and the madness it brings, unlike any other game series. Maybe I feel this due to just nostalgia. If you have a problem with that, sure, go ahead, insult me for having golden memories with a series I grew up with, of which you didn't, because I totally care about how much you hate Sonic and how right you are for a fact. Jokes aside, I think it's not just my childhood memories with Sonic. Generally, Sonic is just something entirely else from the other platformers out there. Probably why most find him so addicting. Why so many loves to make fun of him and criticize him and whatnot. Because deep inside, I think we all care for this little blue blur in one way or the other. That's all I've got to say. Thanks for watching.